David Ancelotti. Just a few days ago, barely anyone in Scotland had his name on their radar. Yet suddenly, the son of the legendary Carlo Ancelotti found himself right at the heart of the Rangers' managerial conversation, touted as the frontrunner to take over permanently at Ibrox. But in true football fashion, the story has taken a dramatic twist. Reports now suggest that David is ready to walk away from the opportunity to lead Rangers, instead choosing to stick by his father's side on a journey with the Brazilian national team. And while that alone is enough to shake things up, it's just the beginning of what's been an intense 24 hours in the world of Rangers Football Club. Let's wind it back a bit. Barry Ferguson, a name that echoes through Ibrox like few others, has been holding the reins since the departure of Philippe Clement. Stepping in as interim manager, the former midfield general knew exactly what he was signing up for. And despite all the pressure, he's managed to lead Rangers to the quarterfinals of the Europa League and even snatch their memorable 3-2 win over Celtic at Parkhead. Something fans will remember for years. But football isn't just about iconic victories. It's about consistency, about grinding out results week in, week out. And Ferguson, with a win ratio sitting just above 40%, knows that his future at the club is far from certain. Still, that didn't stop him from enjoying what might have been his final night in charge at Ibrox. Against Dundee United, Rangers came from behind to secure a convincing 3-1 win with goals from Cyril Desires and Nicholas Raskin turning the tide. Post-match, Ferguson reflected on the experience with a mix of humor and humility. "I've got a few more wrinkles and grey hairs now," he joked before opening up about the true challenges of stepping into such a demanding role. Despite knowing it wouldn't be smooth sailing, he embraced the opportunity. For him, every moment at the training ground, every second inside that stadium has been a privilege. And with one final game of the season still to play, he's not writing anything off just yet. That final clash comes this weekend at Easter Road, where Rangers take on Hibernian. Hibs have already locked in third place following a 2-2 draw, with St. Mirren in midweek, so for them the pressure is off. For Ferguson and his players, though, there's still plenty to play for, if not in points, then certainly in pride. Whether it's his last match in charge or not, Ferguson will want to end this chapter on a high note. But all of that might pale in comparison to the latest developments surrounding David Ancelotti. Until recently, everything pointed to him taking over at Ibrox. He was admired by the Rangers board, seen as a young tactical mind with pedigree and potential. The 49ers enterprises heavily involved behind the scenes at the club had him at the top of their shortlist. Yet now, a report out of Madrid has thrown a spanner in the works. David Ancelotti, it seems, is set to commit fully to his father's project with Brazil. The two will continue working side by side, not just for the upcoming friendlies against Paraguay and Ecuador, but all the way through to the 2026 World Cup. This means Rangers are back to square one in their search for a permanent manager. And while Ferguson has made no secret of his desire to stay on full-time, the club's hierarchy appears ready to cast the net wide. Kevin Thelwell, recently appointed director of football, now holds a key role in the process. With a takeover led by Andrew Kavanagh and the 49ers enterprises on the horizon, the next few months promise to reshape the entire future of Rangers Football Club. Back to the Ancelottis. What makes this development even more extraordinary is the emotional and professional bond between father and son. Carlo and David have worked together for years, from Real Madrid to Everton, and now they're taking that dynamic to the international stage. According to sources close to the duo, the younger Ancelotti had serious offers to step out on his own. Rangers wasn't the only club interested, but the chance to represent Brazil and potentially guide them to their first World Cup title in 24 years proved too tempting to resist. If they succeed, Carlo and David Ancelotti would become the first father-son duo to lift the World Cup, together as manager and assistant, a historic achievement in the making. So where does that leave Rangers? The timing couldn't be more delicate. With the summer transfer window approaching fast and the future of several players hanging in the balance, the need for stability is growing by the day. One of the big questions facing the club's new leadership team is whether to trust Ferguson with the keys permanently or to take a gamble on an outsider with a fresh perspective. Fans are divided. Some see Ferguson as a man who bleeds blue and deserves a shot. Others worry his limited experience at this level might not be enough to carry the club forward, especially with Celtic breathing down their necks. Amid all this, Rangers are keeping one eye on the transfer market. One name making the rounds is Tyrus Dolan, the Blackburn Rovers winger who's set to become a free agent this summer. The 23-year-old was already on Celtic's radar back in January before they sealed the deal for Jota. With Jota now sidelined following knee surgery, Dolan's name is back on the table for both sides of Glasgow. Rangers have made inquiries aware that the player could cross the border for a nominal fee due to FIFA's training compensation rules. Dolan, who came through the academies at Manchester City and Preston North End, had a solid season at Ewood Park. 47 appearances, 7 goals, 6 assists. Blackburn finished just outside the playoff spots, but Dolan's individual performances have caught the attention of clubs both in England and abroad. His manager, Valerian Ismail, was candid when asked about the winger's future. He acknowledged that Dolan has options, and that sometimes no matter how much love a club shows, it comes down to the size and timing of the offer. It's part of the game, and Rangers, depending on who's steering the ship, could be right in the mix to sign him. Meanwhile, Wednesday night brought more than just a win for Rangers. It also offered a moment of leadership and unity with James. Tavernier handing over penalty duties to Cyril Desire, giving the striker a shot at his 50th goal in light blue. Desires didn't disappoint, calmly converting from the spot to give Rangers the lead. Post-match, he was full of praise for his captain, calling the gesture a sign of true character. Everyone knows how much Tavernier loves his goals, his set pieces. His corners and free kicks, for him to step aside, spoke volumes. It wasn't just about the goal, it was about the team, the moment, the recognition of a milestone. That kind of leadership doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but it's priceless. In a dressing room. As for the game itself, it wasn't all smooth sailing. Rangers went behind early with Dundee United catching them off guard. But Ferguson responded. Midway through the first half, he made tactical tweaks that changed the flow of the match. At halftime, he and the players had a heart-to-heart. The message was clear. Find another gear. And they did. Desires equalized before the break, and after the restart, Rangers pushed on. The second goal came with just under 15 minutes to go, and shortly after that, Raskin put the result beyond doubt. A 3-1 win, but more than that, a glimpse of what this team can do when it clicks. And maybe that's what Ferguson has been trying to show all along, that despite the doubters, despite the setbacks, his group still has fight, belief, and unity. Whether that's enough to convince the board to give him the job permanently remains to be seen. But in a week where David Ancelotti looks set to chase World Cup glory, Barry Ferguson continues to quietly build his case at Ibrox. The story isn't over. Not yet. Looking ahead, the uncertainty at Rangers doesn't stop with the managerial role. The club is heading into a summer that could define its future for years to come. The potential takeover involving Andrew Kavanagh and the 49ers enterprises looms large, and while official confirmation is still pending, there's a growing sense that major structural changes are on the horizon. Kevin Thelwell's arrival as director of football already hints at a shift in recruitment strategy, and his first big task, identifying the right manager, could set the tone for everything that follows. But as much as the focus is on the boardroom and the dugout, what happens on the pitch remains just as important. Rangers fans are passionate, vocal, and deeply invested. They've seen the highs of European runs and the lows of inconsistency in domestic form. What they crave now is a sense of direction, a clear plan and a steady hand, and players who understand what it means to wear that shirt. That's where someone like Ferguson holds a bit of an edge. He doesn't need to be told about the history, the pressure, the expectations. He's lived it. He's bled for the badge. And while that alone doesn't qualify him to be manager, it does count for something. Still, sentiment can only go so far. The next manager will be tasked with catching a Celtic side that has found consistency and ruthlessness in equal measure. Brendan Rodgers, for all his controversies, has brought a clinical edge back to the green half of Glasgow. If Rangers want to compete, they need to match that, not just in talent, but in mindset. That's why the next few weeks are so critical. Every decision, every negotiation, every bit of preparation for preseason matters more than ever. And then there's players, like Cyril Desire's form has been a point of discussion all year, but in recent weeks he's looked sharper, hungrier, more confident. Performances like the one against Dundee United show that there's a player in there who can make a difference, especially if given the right service and support. Raskin, too, continues to grow into his role, adding quality and composure to The midfield. The chemistry on the pitch is slowly building, and that can't be overlooked when considering the next managerial appointment. Disrupting that progress with a wrong decision could set the club back significantly. James Tavernier, the captain, remains a symbol of stability in the squad. His decision to let Désiré take the penalty spoke volumes about the culture inside. The dressing room. That kind of humility and leadership creates bonds among players, especially in high-pressure environments like Ibrox. If Ferguson is to remain in charge, or if a new face comes in, retaining that core unity will be essential. So here we are on the cusp of another turning point. David Ancelotti is headed for Brazil. Barry Ferguson is holding the fort. The board is shifting. The fans are watching. And the club stands at a crossroads staring down a summer full of questions. But also full of possibilities. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers. FC fans, Brendan Rodgers, the manager of Celtic Football Club, has recently sparked a wave of controversy with a bold statement about the newly appointed Pope. In an unexpected move, Rodgers openly expressed his disagreement with the Pope on certain issues, stirring reactions both within and beyond the football community. Known for his passionate and outspoken nature, Rodgers did not hold back, making his views clear in a manner that has set tongues wagging across Scotland. The Celtic boss, who has been a central figure in Scottish football for years, took a strong stance against some of the Pope's positions, although he stopped short of detailing exactly which topics he found problematic. His comments quickly became the talk of the town, given the significance of the Pope's influence worldwide and the sensitivity of mixing religious matters with sports figures. What added fuel to the fire was Rodgers' pointed critique of Rangers. Supporters known for the fierce rivalry between Celtic and Rangers, his remarks targeted the opposing fan base in a way that some saw as provocative. The tension between the two sets of supporters is legendary, and Rodgers' comments have only added more heat to an already intense football rivalry. He accused Rangers fans of intolerance and disrespect, drawing a sharp line between the two communities, which has long been divided not only by football allegiance, but also by religious and cultural identities. Rodgers' declaration has not gone unnoticed by the media and fans alike. Many have praised his courage for speaking out on such a sensitive topic, while others have criticized him for unnecessarily stirring controversy. The debate now extends beyond the pitch, touching on wider societal issues and the role of football figures in public discourse. In Scotland, where football is deeply intertwined with local culture and history, Rodgers' comments resonate far beyond sport. The rivalry between Celtic and Rangers is famously more than just a game, often reflecting deeper religious and political divides. Rodgers' involvement in this dialogue highlights the ongoing intersection between football, faith, and community identity in Scottish society. As the story develops, eyes remain on Rodgers and Celtic to see how this controversy will impact their relationship with fans and the wider public. For now, his outspoken remarks have undeniably added a new chapter to the complex narrative of Scottish football rivalries and the cultural conversations that surround them. Greetings, fans! Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.